Hi guys, I'm back. So I took yesterday off and just took some time offline. I felt like there's just been a lot happening in general, and I felt like it was a good day to take off and spend some time away from the internet. So, and I hope that you guys are able to do that as well. I think periodically, those of us who spend a lot of time online, it can get overwhelming in between stuff online and stuff happening in the real world and kind of toxic idiots who run around the internet, kind of just really being dangerous voices. Sometimes it's just best to unplug, and that's what I did. So I know that you guys understand, but we're here today to talk about, I want to talk about protectors, and I also want to talk about mom of 8 kids for a few minutes. Now, before I get into my opinions on mom of 8 kids, her name is Rosalie, so I will refer to her as Rosalie, but her channel name is Mom of 8 Kids. What I want to say before I get into my opinions is that I know that there are some people who disagree with commentary or reaction videos made about Rosalie, simply based off the fact that she is a mom of 8 kids who is trying to go through her grief journey. But I will reiterate very quickly what I have said before, because I cannot stand being a broken record, but sometimes it's just needed. When you are putting your grief journey out onto YouTube, that makes it public content that goes up for public discussion, public reactions, public criticism, if there is criticism to be had. And that's exactly what's happening with her. Not everybody is going to stand on the side of the street of, well, we see some red flags, some lies, and some problematic behavior, but we should just all be quiet because this person is going through a grief journey on YouTube. That's just not the way that things operate. And if that's the way you operate, that is perfectly fine with me. But as long as the content is being made in a fair, constructive manner, I'm here for discussions on things that are happening on the internet. Point blank, period. That's where I've always stood. And that's where I stand with her. So I have been very straightforward, level-headed, and not cruel to Rosalie, nor will I ever be. And there's also something that I came across in her comment section that I completely disagree with, and we will get there in a few minutes. But I am here for positive conversations, even if the conversation is about something that maybe you think, oh, well, I wouldn't talk about that. Well, I would, and we're here to have a discussion. So I wanted to get that out of the way first. Now, let's move on to her most recent video that she posted. Now, she's back to posting old content in the current day, but she has made a very positive change in her content, and she is being very transparent about when this was filmed and what's going on current day, so that people are no longer confused like they were in the beginning of her sharing this content. That's what should have happened from the beginning. And that's what I said. I don't have a problem with, do what you will. It's your channel. Put out whatever content you want to put out. But people should know that they can trust you, and they're going to have a problem trusting you if you are saying, my husband suddenly died, but then they figure out that it actually happened in July and you weren't being forthcoming with the information. That creates trust issues. Now, the video that she posted on October 27th is titled Picking Out a Crypt for My Dead Husband, Mom of 8 Kids. It has 709 likes and just over 13,000 views as of today. And Rosalie starts this video with disclaimers, like I mentioned. And the first disclaimer she put is, my husband and father of our 8 children died unexpectedly on July 16th, 2023. I decided not to tell the younger children right away. Only my Only my oldest three presently know. Today is July 22nd, 2023, 7 days later. This is right after everything happened, and she is focused on making content. And as I've said before, I think that there is a time and a place for content creation when it comes to your grief journey. I don't think that filming in a mausoleum is the best idea, personally. I think that places like cemeteries and mausoleums are so sacred and so they're just on a level of sacredness that I can't really put into words in this moment. But I don't think that filming a vlog, a day in the life, a TikTok, or any of the above is the time or the place. And again, that's just me personally, but she did decide to film in this mausoleum, and she gives people a little bit of a tour. Oh, here's the exit. Here are a bunch of other strangers, their final resting place, filming their names, what kind of flowers they had on them, in front of their nameplate. It just kind of seemed like a breach of privacy to be filming in that kind of space instead of saying, well, we went there and this is what I experienced and this is what we decided to do. Instead, she is allowing her children to run around on the second floor, making all kinds of noises, and she and some of the other older kids are on the lower level. She says things like, I could sit in this chair if I wanted to. I could move the chair over and look up there. That is the one that we picked. And she kind of, pans up to one of the open spaces where they ended up deciding to place her husband. She kind of debates on, well, should he be on the second floor? Should he be on the first floor? She decides that it's more comfortable for her that she wants him to be on the first floor. So she kind of like shares this like decision-making process all while filming inside this mausoleum. The one thing that I found interesting, I don't want to focus too much on this, but it did kind of seem like a me, I situation where it was what she wanted, what she was comfortable with, the visions that she had, the things that she was going through in her mind. They were very quiet, very reserved. One of them was sitting in a chair, and she came up and said, it looks like it's weighing on him, then films him and says, are you okay? You look like you're in deep thought. He probably is. He just lost his father, who he had for, 18 years? I think her oldest kid is around 18, around about. I would say that he probably is in deep thought, and it probably is weighing very heavily on him, and he probably doesn't want to have a camera in his face inside the mausoleum where he is coming to terms with the fact that his father's body is going to be in this establishment for the next 1,000 years. I feel for her, especially the oldest kids. They really are just being expressive with the sadness that they're feeling, and it hurts my heart to see her. If she wants to share her journey as a widow, that is one thing, but to constantly be filming the kids is obviously one of the cornerstones of my channel and something I talk about often. When kids are trying to process emotions and parents want to have it be content, those two things, when they kind of try to cross paths, you end up seeing kids who are extremely uncomfortable being put on the public stage that is YouTube. And my heart hurts for her kids who are trying to grieve, and she is trying to make content for her newfound YouTube fame. Now, after they went to the mausoleum and settled up there, they stopped at this like roadside diner thing. She ordered her kids like fries, and people were evidently really upset in the comments section. So she fixed this situation by pinning a comment that said, "This was only a snack. Don't worry, my kids are fed." Okay. Like, I mean, what else are you gonna say? She responded to the backlash, so whatever. Like, the dinner thing, supper thing, snack, fries, whatever, was honestly one of the last things that I took away from her vlog. I was more concerned with the fact that she was filming inside such a sacred place and showing her kids, who were obviously going through emotional torture, having just lost their dad. Now I want to read you her pinned comment. Her pinned comment says, "I am expressing my grief through YouTube. Some people don't understand, and that is fine. Everyone is different. This is how I deal with it. I have already talked to the older boys 2 months ago, and they understand, and now we are fine. Thank you so much to those for your understanding. These trolls are bullies. Sometimes it gets me down. I don't have a heart made of stone. That is why kind people like you mean so much to me. It balances the hate that I get. They love to hate, so they will always find something to hate me for." What I want to say about this is, are some trolls relentless and hateful and cruel and just bottom feeders of the internet? Absolutely. However, something that I've never, ever, ever agreed with is someone giving you criticism or feedback on your public YouTube video automatically being labeled as a troll simply because they disagree with what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're filming, whatever. And people who are giving you a little bit of backlash for filming your kids, oversharing, raising questions about the timeline before she was being transparent about that, those are not trolls. Those are just people who either have questions or don't like your video. And that is fine, because guess what? If you want something to be private, then keep it off the internet. Simple, right? Do I think that some people really just hit below the belt and are toxic and hateful and cruel? I do, but most of the comments that I've seen that are not in favor of Rosalie are just things disagreeing with something that she has said or shared or done, whatever. The last thing I want to say about Rosalie is there was a comment chain happening on her video, and a channel called Air Force Family was mentioned. Allegedly, this channel doxed Rosalie. What I want to say about that is, y'all already know where I stand on doxing and bullying and just harassing or going real life. I stand against it. I always have. I always will. There is no reason why anyone on the internet needs to know where this woman lives, where her kids lay their heads at night. There's no reason for anybody to know her phone number or anything along those lines. We respond and react to what she puts out on her channel and keep it moving. I cannot stand people who automatically go to, well, I'm going to release your address just because you can find it on Google. That is so deranged and unhinged. If y'all can't have a conversation and just keep stuff on YouTube, you are the trash bags of the internet. I think it's so insane how people automatically go to, oh, well, I'm going to release your information. I'm going to put out your phone number. I'm going to put out your address. Like, that is absolutely disgusting. And I don't care who it is, how often I disagree with them. If I don't have any damn respect, I have said before, I will always stand against people's private information being put out publicly. Because there are really scary people who hang out on the internet and consume this content, and it is never okay to release that kind of information simply because you don't like someone or you disagree with them, period. Rosalie did mention that she reported this account that doxed her, and I cannot find their account on YouTube. So hopefully YouTube handled that, and hopefully Rosalie and her family are safe. But I just wanted to reiterate that for any new subscriber or anyone who maybe hasn't heard me talk about this before. We do not and will not stand for anybody being doxxed. Anybody who I've talked about anywhere on my channel. I want to go over, now moving on to Colleen Ballinger, I want to go over kind of who's still following Colleen on Instagram. And I also wanted to say, while we're at it, who's still following James Charles on Instagram? Now, James Charles is still following Colleen. Lily Singh is following James Charles and Colleen Ballinger. Lily has done a lot of content with Colleen and was very, very publicly friendly with her. And all this time later, for her to still be supporting both of these people when their disgusting actions have been, you know, headlines. Like, don't sit there and act like you don't know, because I'm not buying that anymore. So Lily Singh needs to definitely be called out. Jojo Siwa, obviously I've talked about her. She's still following Colleen and James Charles. Todrick Hall, I've talked about. He is still following Colleen. He does not follow James Charles. Shane Dawson, the just, you know, another bottom feeder with no morals, is following both Colleen and James Charles. Someone who I haven't talked about following anyone is Jaclyn Hill. Jaclyn Hill follows Colleen and James Charles. Now, I'm sure some of y'all already knew about the James Charles thing, because I think that I mentioned that, but I haven't talked about her ties to Colleen. So, Miss Jaclyn Hill, what on earth are you doing following both of these monsters on Instagram? All of these people who still publicly follow James or Colleen, I want to say, because some people might be like, oh, well, maybe they just forgot to unfollow. They know that they are public figures, and who you're following is very intentional, because when you have millions of followers, you're usually following not a large group of people. It takes 2 seconds to make your stance very clear, to not only not come out and support victims, but also still follow these monsters says so much to me. The other thing I want to talk about is this Rosanna Pansino situation. Peter Mon made a video about it. I listened to part of that, and I'm not super familiar with the Mr. Beast drama that she's trying to start, but I wanted to see if she's still following Colleen, because she has been crickets on the whole situation. She's not following Colleen, but she's following Adam McIntyre, which I found to be very interesting. What an odd choice. Now, I'm here for people following Adam, but if you are on the side of Adam, why not speak up and allow your stance to be known, and that you do not support Colleen Ballinger? People with platforms that don't use their voices, it's just crazy to me. I don't understand it, especially when you were so publicly tied to somebody, making tons of content, going to parties at each other's houses. I'm not talking about someone that gave a shout out once or twice in a video. That's not the kind of friends I'm talking about. I am talking about these people hanging out in real life. Now, when I went over to James Charles' Instagram to confirm whether or not he was still following Colleen, just to double check, because I don't like to come on my channel and sound like an idiot, you know, as long as I can avoid it. But when I went over there, I saw that Heidi Klum invited James Charles to her Halloween costume party. Now, I'm sure that, you know, Heidi Klum herself doesn't review this guest list or anything like that, but you would think that somebody on her PR team, her manager, her agent, somebody could have stepped up and said, I know that you're going to invite some influencers. Let's review that list. Somebody on this team, let's review it and make sure that we don't have predators attending this party. Because anybody who invites James Charles anywhere is in the trash bin. And that's how I feel about it. But I know those are a lot of really random little updates, but I felt like I wanted to kind of catch you guys up to speed, and we can have a conversation about it. So more content coming, but for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.